How did you decide on what outfit to wear for Survivor? Huge fan of yours. The outfit that I chose to wear, I just wanted it to encapsulate my personality. I'm a very colorful person, and I wanted it to feel like me. I wanted to feel like an artist. I wanted to feel bright and bubbly, even though wearing like a hot pink sweater out on the island when you're supposed to be blending in is probably not the best idea, but I wanted to go with the thing that felt most like me. What's your favorite music to listen to when you need a pick me up? I love listening to women rappers. I just always say nobody pops their like a woman rapper. And when I'm feeling down, I feel like a Cardi B, a Megan Thee Stallion, they're gonna pick me up. Also Beyonce, she will get me up out of any mood. And I think between those three women right there, that's all I need to get out of any mood. What's your workout goals? I had a very interesting workout plan going into 50. I have tons of footage. I've been saying this all season. I know I'm gonna post my workout video next week. Um, yeah, I'm gonna just put it all together in one video and I'm gonna post it next week. Would you ever do Amazing Race or Big Brother if offered the chance? Yes, I would. I feel like Amazing Race I would probably prefer over Big Brother, just because it's very different from Survivor. But either one, I would take the opportunity if given the chance. Your style, outfit, hair, makeup at the finale was perfection. Please share your secrets/links. Okay, great. I can give you guys a link down below to the outfit. It was Akira, and my best friend actually helped style me for the finale because she works in fashion and she's really good with all that. I did my makeup myself, and I didn't do the braids myself, but like the braided crown with the knots and the jewels, I did that myself. And yeah, most of it was just between me and my best friend, like coming up and concepting the look together. But I'm glad you guys appreciated it. Do you still stay in New Jersey? No, I've actually been in LA for almost 2 years now. What's your life motto? What motivates you? My life motto is, at the end of the day gotta end. No, I'm joking. I think I freaking heard Glorilla say that one time or something. But usually when I'm feeling down, I just remind myself that my worst day is somebody's prayer. There is a person out there for every situation. Even when I'm having my worst day and it's the most horrible time ever, I constantly remind myself that no matter what I'm going through, there's somebody out there that's praying to be in my position, and it instantly shifts my perspective to gratitude. You looked like a queen at the finale. Sorry, not a question. I appreciate that, and I love that you guys are saying that because I did my hair like that intentionally. One, because it was kind of a different twist on the space buns that I'm known for. And also, it felt like a crown. And while I knew I could not wear a crown to finale, I wanted to at least make my hair look like one. How are your current relationships with fellow season 50 castaways? I'm pretty cool with everybody. I don't have any beefs with the exception of Joe. Again, that's not even a beef. He just blocked me, so we don't talk. Of course, the next question is, why did Joe, who got no votes twice, block you? I don't know why Joe blocked me, y'all. I really don't. Did you talk to Joe and find out why he blocked you? No, I did not. The last conversation I had with Joe, it was like at an event or something like that. Actually, I think the last conversation I had with Joe was at the premiere. Things seem pretty normal. I assume that whatever reason Joe has for blocking me is probably something that happened on the screen. But to be honest with you, after watching the season back myself, I really don't know or care to find out why I'm blocked. Thank you for always standing on business. Always have and always will. Do we like Savannah? Yes, we do. Savannah is mad cool. She's so sweet. She's so funny. I like her a lot. How does it feel to be appreciated as a player by the greats? It feels awesome. It feels like I accomplished what I set out there to do. I remember in my audition tape, I said, I'm doing this because I want to prove to myself that I'm that girl. And after season 50, I think I've more than proved that. How are the Crocs to wear? Wouldn't they get so much sand in them? The thing I appreciated about the Crocs is that there would, like, sand would get in it, but sand will get in everything. Crocs were super easy to kind of just like dip in the ocean, rinse them off. To be honest, Crocs were the best wardrobe decision that I made the entire time I was out there. Do you hate Joe? No, I do not hate Joe. My feelings about Joe are neutral. He chose to block me, and I'm okay with that. I always said that I was going on Survivor to make money, not friends. And while After playing Survivor twice, I realized that friends is a part of the package. I also understand that not everybody you play Survivor with is going to end up being your friend, and I think that that's just the reality of the me and Joe situation. Did anyone get booed at the finale? I don't think so. I don't think so. I feel like there were moments that people booed, but I don't know if they booed anybody. Who do you think are the jury votes you would have gotten? I think that I would have gotten the jury vote. Well, it depends on who I'm sitting next to, right? But I think I would have gotten the jury votes of everybody whose mind wasn't already made up walking into the final tribal council, and I'll leave it at that. Ooh, this is a good one. Why were you so salty at the questioning with the final three? I was not salty. So I really don't understand why you think that I was salty. If you are asking that question because you are referring to the way I checked Stephanie when she was trying to sway the jury for Jonathan, I think I was just confused and I was airing out my confusion, just like everybody else who was confused because we came in there with specific instructions and I don't think that Stephanie was following them. Where did you get that necklace you wore at the finale? It's so pretty. Thank you. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure that the necklace came from Macy's. I think. I'm pretty sure it came from Macy's. Was there more to your last tribal than was shown in the episode? It seemed quite tense. Yeah, there was more. I will say, and I've said this in my exit press, my passion that was displayed at the final tribal council had less to do with me leaving and more to do with the conversations I've had that day. It's ironic you vote Aubrey at the last tribal council and vote her for the winner after that. Congrats, by the way. I don't think it's that ironic. I wrote Aubrey's name down at the last tribal council because I felt like Aubrey was the biggest threat still left in the game. And I wrote her name down to win the game because I still felt that way. She was the biggest threat. And in my eyes, the person who played the best game. So for the same reason I wanted to send her home, that was the same reason she got my vote in the end. Do you have your open carry license? Them guns were popping at the finale. um, that's hilarious. Not a real question, but thank you. How much muscle mass or weight did you lose during season 50? I think I lost like 13 pounds, but a lot of my weight going into 50 was muscle mass. So I think that some of that withered away out there. And I think I'm still trying to gain some of that back. Final thoughts on Genevieve. I think Genevieve is great. I think she's an exceptional player. I think she's an exceptional person. I think how it worked out is just Genevieve and I unfortunately ended up on opposite sides of the coin because of the way that our tribe breakdown ended up when we merged together on the new tribe. But I like Genevieve, and Genevieve was somebody who I wanted to play with going into 50. It's unfortunate just that we never got the chance to do that because of circumstances. But I love her. She's super cool. Would you do a third round of Survivor in the future? Yes, I would. I feel like there's still a chance I could go out there and get that W. How was Rizzo not voted out early? I thought everyone wanted the season 49 players out. I do believe that Rizzo did a good job of aligning himself with people that kept him in the game. I feel like he did a great job of making alliances with, people like Serena Ozzy. I think he played a pretty good social game. And I think that he just, he's a good talker. He's good at convincing people why they shouldn't have sent him home. That's my suggestion. I think he just played a really good social game. What was going through your head during the Jeff Rizzo spoiler moment at finale? That was one of the craziest things that ever happened to me. It felt like I was watching a slow motion train wreck. I felt like my heart was speeding up because I could feel the line of questioning. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, I trust Jeff knows what he's doing, but also I see where it was going. And I was like shocked. I felt like a frozen statue. I didn't know what to do. And I think that was kind of the move for all of us. Like, it was just like, oh my God, what's next? But obviously Jeff is a professional. He recovered as such. And I expected nothing less, but it was crazy to witness. What was your confessional about someone being a puppet that never aired and about who? Dang, y'all got some good memory. About 3 of y'all asked me about that puppet comment. I think my puppet comment it was in regards to Chrissy and Coach. It never aired, but I think it was after I had found out that Coach was like throwing my name around, or about that time. I had realized during that time in the game that Chrissy was kind of like the brains of the operation. And I think I referred to her as the puppet master who was operating Coach as her puppet. And I'm pretty sure that that's what I was talking about. I think I said something like, Chrissy has like her hand up Coach Butt and is like moving his mouthpiece like a puppet or something like that. But really, the comment was in regards to Chrissy and Coach. I feel like Chrissy was the brains and Coach was kind of just doing whatever she told him to do, which I don't think I was that far off because I think that was a lot of people's read, which is why it made sense for us to get them both out at the same time. Why didn't you try to persuade Rizzo to play the idol for you and vote Aubrey? Under no circumstances was Rizzo playing his idol for me. Rizzo did not want me in the game. Rizzo felt like sitting next to me would lose him the game. So there was no world where he was playing that idol on me. It just didn't make sense. Loved you calling out things for what they were. Was there a jury question that you wish were aired? I do. I can't remember if it was Dee's or Ozzy's question, but there was a question that was asked about relationships pre-game, that whether or not they had an impact on the players' games. And I do wish that that was aired because it was some very interesting insight. Joe said in his exit press that he only blocked 3 people and has tried to fix it. LOL, true. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. There's so many questions in here about Joe. I don't know. Stop asking me about that man because I don't care. How proud of you are yourself? Because we, the fans, love you. I'm extremely proud. I'm extremely proud, and you guys make it that much easier for me to be proud of the game that I play because y'all are boosting me up like crazy and y'all make me feel very loved. Who are you still friends with from both of your seasons? For the most part, I feel like I'm still friends with everybody. I think it'd be easier for me to answer who I'm not friends with. I still talk to just about everybody. I think the only people that I don't really talk to are Joe, obviously, because he has me blocked. And then me and Banu don't really talk, not because I'm not cool with him, but just we just don't talk. Like you naturally, when you get back into your regular life, relationships fade and stuff like that. But I don't know if there's anybody I could say that I'm just like intentionally not friends with. There's just people that I'm closer to than others. Favorite dinosaur? That's a very weird question, but Velociraptor. I don't even think I've ever been asked that question before, so thank you. Do you think that if you had won the immunity at Final Five, you had the numbers to win? Yes, I do. I had a very good relationship with a lot of people on the jury. I do think that if I had sat next to Aubrey, the votes would have been a lot closer, but I do still think I had the numbers to win the game. Who would you have wanted to sit next to in Final Three? P.S. You're so hot and tough. Thank you so much. And I think that I would have been fine sitting next to anybody in the final 5, really, other than Aubrey. While I do think that I still would have won against Aubrey, I think that Aubrey would have been the toughest competitor there to go toe to toe with in final tribal council. Anybody else I would have been comfortable sitting next to. Joe, Jonathan, Rizzo. The end game would have been the same. But if I had my pick of who I would have sat next to, it would have been exactly who Aubrey was sitting next to. I would have liked to sit front and center between Joe and Jonathan because I feel like that would have been, you know, nothing but net. Love you, girl. Just wondering if you have any animosity about being so close to winning. I do not. Obviously, like coming home, I had to really wrap my mind around the disappointment of getting so close and not winning, but definitely no animosity. If anything, I'm proud. I'm grateful. I'm happy that I got as far as I did. I made it all the way to the finale episode, which is a lot more than a lot of people can say. A lot of great players can say that came back. So no animosity. I'm full of love and gratitude right now. The traders or the challenge, both or neither. I would do both. I think they're I really am a fan of both shows and I feel like I would do good on either one. Well, this question is a little spicy. Why do you like your fraudulent run in Survivor 50? Oh, boo boo. I'm so sorry that you feel like my run was fraudulent. Unfortunately, I do not agree with you. I'm very proud of the game I played, and I'm sorry that you don't feel the same. Oh, another spicy one. You're absolutely delusional. You said that you aren't bitter, but you were crying all day. I don't think that you know the difference between being bitter and being upset because you feel like you may have disappointed people that were looking up to you. Maybe you should take some time to sit with that. But I absolutely wasn't bitter. And like I said, I was crying because I felt like I had been a disappointment because I thought that there were so many people depending on me. However, I also learned that I'm not a disappointment at all. People are actually extremely proud of me. Unfortunately, you're not part of that bandwagon, but you still did take the time to come to my page, look at my press, and leave me a comment. So thanks for the attention that I know I deserve. Are you and Q still friends? Absolutely. Q is my boy. He is funny. He is crazy. He had y'all doing circles on the internet, believing them crazy lies he told on the red carpet. But I think that that's part of his charm. You are so funny. We would love to see you with your opinions on things like a YouTube channel. Honestly, I have been having so much fun doing these YouTube videos with y'all. I'm absolutely not stopping this YouTube channel now that Survivor is done. If y'all want, I can give commentary on other shows. I can just come and tell y'all my business about what's going on in my regular life. Maybe just leave me some comments below. Let me know what y'all want to talk about after this. I still am going to give y'all the videos I promised, my training videos, my audition video, and my tribe flag rankings. I have not forgotten about those. But other than Survivor stuff, let me know what y'all want to talk about because y'all shouldn't have got me started on here. I'm having too much fun. I'm not going anywhere now. If you follow me on Instagram, then you're probably not questioning why mid video I'm suddenly wearing a different outfit. However, if you don't, let me just fill you in. I was editing this video to post today, and I realized that halfway through me talking, maybe about 15 minutes into the 40+ minute video that I recorded, I got one of those involuntary Amber Alert notifications from Apple. And I waited until it was done and then I went back to recording. But that did some type of witchcraft on my phone and messed up my audio. And my mic did not record for the rest of the video. But because I never stopped the video and started again or reconfigured the mic or settings, I don't know what happened. Point is, I got about 35+ minutes of footage of me yapping and answering questions that is now useless because there's no audio. So we're going to finish this video strong and I'm going to get this video up so that we can move on. Please give us the tea about Rizzo and the chicken breast he wasted at the auction. So with Rizzo, it wasn't necessarily, at least for me, it wasn't about him wasting the chicken breast because I don't even eat chicken. But it was just us poking fun at him because it was just like a well-known thing that Rizzo is a picky eater. And a lot of people were starving. So it was just like a funny thing to make fun of because I think Rizzo might have had like a chicken breast, some chocolate chip cookies, a protein shake, and like something else, maybe a cupcake or something. I don't know. He had a bunch of food. He didn't eat a lot of it. And then he got back to camp. I think the next day was talking about how hungry he was. And we were all looking at him like, you cannot be for real. It was more funny than anything though. Where or how did you make that bow tie you were wearing during tribal? It's so cute. If you're talking about the buff bow that I had on my hair, I made it with a bunch of different hair ties and I like scrunched it up and I learned it from Kenzie because she did it on season 46 with her buff and I wanted to try it on season 50. Can you do a buff bow tutorial? You guys have been asking me for this all season and I promised y'all I would do it. So here goes. Start out with a buff. You want to like scrunch it up through the middle. So it's like this. And then pinch it down the middle. Pinch it in the middle. And then you want to make sure that you're able to put your hand through on both sides. So that there's like a little hole on both sides, but you're pinching it in the middle. Then you want to take a hair tie. And you need 2 hair ties in a buff to do this. You take that first hair tie and you tie it around the middle of the buff. So now you kind of have your buff bow, and then you shape it out, fluff it out so that it starts to look like a bow. And then you take your second hair tie, you loop it through this hair tie like this. You take this, loop it through so that it's like this. And then you take this part, you loop it through once again, and you pull it so that it knots. And then now you have the part that you can attach to your ponytail. What I did was I put it on my ponytail on my hair like this, and then I took this part and I wrapped it around my ponytail, and then it'll sit nice on your head. Hope that helps. You guys send me pictures of your buff bows. Shout out to Kenzie, the inventor, the originator. Love her down. How do you think you would have fared in the Final Four Emotion Challenge? I do believe I would have done well in this Emotion Challenge, only because I'm an artist, also an athlete, and I have really good hand-eye coordination. So I think I would have done well. Obviously, we will never know, but I think I would have had a really good shot at winning. What kept you going when you felt alone on the beach? Ultimately, what it came down to is I just had to remember my why. I was there for myself. I was there to prove something to myself. And in the moments where I felt alone and I didn't feel like I had the backup that I needed, I kind of had to just fall back onto the why am I here? What is it that I'm trying to prove to myself? And what do I want to walk away from this experience with? And that usually just pulled me back into what I needed. It felt possible to sway Joe and Jonathan to switch votes to Aubrey, but you came to tribal swinging. Regret? I don't regret anything I said or did at that tribal council. And while it may have seemed possible based on what you guys were shown, it was not possible. Joe and Jonathan, they looked like they were hearing me out, but behind the scenes, I think they were pretty steadfast in the fact that they didn't think they could win next to me. Also, Rizzo was absolutely not wavering in his opinion on whether or not he wanted me to go. And Joe and Jonathan, I think they were kind of like moving based on Rizzo's energy at that point. It was like a very locked in thing. I was not going to be spared at that tribal council. And I knew it. So I was just like ready to go out guns ablaze. Were you bothered by the way Jonathan celebrated? Did he apologize to everyone? No, he didn't apologize to anyone. And I mean, in the moment, it did bother me because I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you, the worm? Like, what is happening here? Also, I just, I had my feelings. I was so close to winning, and I felt like my puzzle looked better than his. His puzzle was like all on the gangster lean and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, you are so lucky. You are so lucky that that puzzle was deemed acceptable. But I mean, it bothered me a little bit, but at the end of the day, I do understand it's a game, it's Final Five, and he probably was just moved in the moment, and that's just how he expressed himself. Can you tell us about your relationship with Aubrey after you lost, since you helped her win at the final tribal council? I don't believe that I helped Aubrey win. I believe Aubrey helped Aubrey win. I think she did an impeccable job of relaying what she did during the game to the jury. And my relationship with her, I would argue, is my relationship with just about anybody after I leave Survivor. When I leave as a player and get to the jury side of things, the way I think about the game shifts, and I go from viewing them no longer as my competitor or my competition, but as like somebody who I could potentially vote for to win the money, because now I'm not in the game and my responsibility is different. But I think as soon as I left the game, all of the like, oh, she wrote my name down, she flipped on me, all that left, because I'm still playing, but now I got to play a different role. I ugly cried seeing you get voted out, but just know you moved all of us this season. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And it feels really good to know that as deeply as I cared about the game and how I did, there were people out there that were rooting for me and cared just as much. Favorite drag queen? Well, you're trying to get me in trouble. I like all of them. I just love the energy that they bring to the stage. And I cannot pick a favorite because there's too many. However, I will say this. I really do love Monet Exchange. I love Bob the Drag Queen. I follow them on Instagram and I think that they are just top tier personalities. But as far as like a favorite, oh, it's too hard. Maybe too personal, but what happens if a contestant needs medication or has their period? That's not too personal. If you need medication, 9 times out of 10, as long as you provide the medication or let the medical team know what you need or may need ahead of time, they will be able to provide that for you. And as far as period supplies, same things apply. Like there will not come a time where you're in need of medical attention or female products and you don't have access to them. How did you decide on who to vote for at finale? What was your thought process on the jury? I know everybody has different criteria for what they look for in a final tribal council speech. But for me personally, my criteria was just, how did you play the game? Can you articulate that clearly to me? And all of the things that you did that may be deemed like, messed up or hurtful or whatever, are you going to stand on that? Are you going to articulate why those things were necessary to get you to the final tribal council seats? For me, it really just came down to who's going to stand 10 toes down, who's going to own their game, and who's going to give this speech with conviction and let me know that this is the game I played. I don't care what you think. This is what got me here. And ultimately, I felt like Aubrey did that the best. What was the reaction when you got to Pondy? Whose votes did you think you were getting? I was received at Ponderosa with so much love. I walked up and literally everybody was waiting for me at the door. They had drinks in their hands. They were cheering. A lot of people expressed how sad they were to see me at Ponderosa because they have much rather me still been in the game. But I feel like I would have gotten a lot of votes. Obviously, I can't say for sure because I didn't sit in the final tribal council seats. Aubrey, Joe, and Jonathan did. But I will say this, my reception at Ponderosa was wonderful. And we did that for everybody. When Rizzo came, oh my God, it was so bad because usually they let us know when the person is pulling up. So we get time to prepare, grab a drink, go wait at the door for them. And nobody texted us to let us know that Rizzo was on his way, or nobody came to tell us. So Rizzo got there and we're all sitting at the table and he walks up to like complete quiet. We all felt so bad because he's like, well, dang, I guess like they didn't like me or something like that. And we were like, no, like we didn't know that you were here. So obviously we got up, ran over to him, gave him hugs, got him a drink, and gave him the proper reception. But it was so crazy because we had this thing planned like, all right, when Rizzo gets here, we're all going to be waiting. We're going to scream his name. None of that happened because we were not warned that he was already on his way. He got there a lot quicker than we expected. What is your opinion on Jonathan blaming Sari for losing in a recent interview? What is the truth? I do not think it's fair for Jonathan to blame Sari for his loss. At the end of the day, Sari is one woman. The jury is full of individuals who went out there to play their own game. They have their own minds, they have their own opinions. So to reduce his loss down to, well, Sari told everybody to do it. Not only is that kind of disrespectful to all the other jurors that were there and had their own criteria for what they were looking for in a winner, but it doesn't really take any accountability either. Sari didn't lose you the game, just like Sari couldn't have won him the game. I think that right now Jonathan is still disappointed. He's upset and he's looking for somebody to blame. But if I had to offer him any advice, I would just say that right now is a moment where he needs to look inward. It's just not fair to blame Sari for his loss. How did you end up carrying your Crocs to the island? I'm not sure what you mean by how did I end up carrying them there, but it was just one of my wardrobe choices. It was something that I specifically asked for. And, you know, before we go out there, we have preferences, wardrobe items that we want. We send them off to the wardrobe team to get approved. And my Crocs were something that I really wanted. I feel like they look really cute with my outfit. And it just happened to get approved by the wardrobe team. If you're referring to how I carried them around when I was out there, then I had them in a backpack. And, you know, obviously we get to take all of our clothes home. So I very much still have my Crocs here with me and I wear them all the time. But when I took them out there with me, they were brand new. I bought them specifically to play Survivor 50. How was your Ponderosa experience? Did you prefer it over your original Ponderosa of 46? My Ponderosa at 50 was way better for many reasons. One, I was only there for like a day and a half, 2 days before it was time to go. And two, when I went to Ponderosa on 50, I felt differently. I felt very proud. I had my head up high the entire time. I didn't have any regrets. On 46, I spent most of the time just stewing over the fact that I could have still been in the game had I played my idol. So very different experiences. Overall, 50 was much more enjoyable. Also, I was actually able to like have fun the second time around. The first time I was just sad and miserable. Thoughts on bitter jury and exit press talk? Great game, Tiff. I don't believe that the jury is bitter. Obviously, you know, sometimes when you come that close to winning $2 million, it can be a hard thing to grapple with. You know, I was close. It was tough for me to, you know, wrap my head around the loss, but I think that the people who are out there saying that the jury was bitter, this might just be a coping mechanism for them. And you know what? That's everybody's journey to experience. So I'm not going to knock anybody. I'm not going to put anybody down for feeling how they feel. But I don't believe the jury was bitter. I don't believe it's fair to say the jury was bitter. Everybody has their own criteria on how they vote. Everybody, as a juror, can vote for who they want, when they want, why they want. And it's ultimately down to jury management. I think that that is a very critical part of the game that a lot of people forget about. Yeah, you can be great at challenges. Yeah, you can be catching a million fish. Yeah, you can be the strongest, prettiest, amazing player. If you don't have great jury management, then that could be a make or break of your game. And I think that that's what it all boils down to this season. What's your favorite type of challenge? I love the obstacle course challenges. I love the challenges where it's like not just one singular thing. I really cannot stand like the endurance challenges because my mind wanders too much. Like my mind is all over. And I feel like with the challenges where it's like jump off this gate, run through the mud, build this puzzle, climb up the wall, those things I feel like can keep my mind stimulated. And I feel like I'm just hustling through it the whole time. And I think that that is what works well with me and just the way my brain works. Also, I think those challenges are just way more fun. Best food reward you ate this season? Ooh, definitely Applebee's. It's just something about that Fijian Applebee's. it tastes like 10 times better. Maybe it's because we're starving. Maybe it's because it genuinely is better. I don't know. But Applebee's this season was the best. If D had remained in the game, what would have changed for you? I probably wouldn't have had a big target on my back later on in the game. But then again, I feel like it could go both ways, right? D and I were strong individually, but together we were even stronger. So I think we were even more intimidating as a duo than we were on our own. So in some ways, D leaving kind of helped me lower my threat level, but in other ways, it kind of rose my threat level because now I don't have this amazing challenge beast winner goddess here to shield me anymore. So I think it depends on how you look at it. What's the hardest part of playing Survivor as a Black woman? I think it just depends on who you talk to. I can only speak for myself when I answer this, but my most difficult part was just managing my perception and managing potentially unconscious biases and just how people may or may not be intimidated by me and my emotions and the way I navigate the game. Joe said it was immature that you were emotional after Cerie's exit. Can you respond to that? I can respond to that, but I'm going to choose not to because I think the audience has done all the responding for me. How do you have the energy to find idols? I get too tired looking for my airport in my tiny room. I don't know what that means. I'm going to assume that that's a typo, but it's a lot of downtime out there. When we're not competing in a challenge or at tribal council, we're just sitting around camp. There's a lot of time to sit and chat, and boredom strikes very quickly. So it's much less about not having the energy and more to do with like, I need something to do. And most of the times it's just like, I don't want to sit at camp looking in y'all faces all day. I'm going to find me an idol. Close up of Croc charms and decision behind your choice of charms. I just posted a video on my Instagram of my Crocs and I did like a close up of the charms, but I can give you a breakdown of the things there and why I chose them. I believe it was like a shell, a flower, a palm tree, uh, I think like some type of hibiscus flower, and then maybe a starfish. All of the charms were tropical, and they were all like something that I felt like reminded me of Fiji. What are your plans like this summer? Any public events where we can meet you? Love you. Love you too. And yeah, actually, if you're not busy next weekend, I'll be in Newport Beach. They're doing like a panel there. I think it'll be me, Aubrey, Devins, Rizzo, and D, and it's going to be a good time. So if you happen to be in Newport Beach, California area, come meet us. And I believe the Survivor page posted the details, but if not, just keep a watch on my Instagram stories because I'm going to repost the flyer too. How long have y'all known about Charlie and Camilla White Lotus? How did Mike White pick them? I think what it came down to for Mike White's picks is just, he just liked them. They're both hilarious. And he probably just thought they'd be really good for the show. I don't think there was really much more to it than that. And we found out when y'all found out, or at least I did. Maybe other people knew, but I found out at the finale when they announced it. What are Kyle and Camilla like in real life? They are both awesome, amazing humans. And I'm so glad that Survivor brought them into my life. They're both funny without putting in effort. And they're just a hoot to be around. I love them down. How do you have such great control on the jury? Is it on purpose? I feel like y'all are seeing something that I don't see. I I don't feel like I have control of the jury. I think I was just out there doing my job just like everybody else was. I really don't feel like I had control over anybody, nor was I trying to. This was my first time watching Survivor. You're my favorite. Oh my God, thank you so much. And I cannot believe that watching season 50 was your first time watching Survivor. I can't imagine if like this crazy nut ass season was my first time watching. I know you probably had the time of your life. Might I suggest, if you love chaos, go watch season 46 next. That was my original season, and I feel like it will give you everything you need. Drama, intrigue, mess. It's just a beautiful season. What's a video game you've beaten but you would play again? I've beaten Breath of the Wild. I would obviously play that again and again. I've beaten all the Spyro games. I've beaten all the Crash Bandicoot games. I would definitely play those again. I've beaten all the Frogger games. I would play those again. I've beaten a lot of the Sonic games. I would play those again. As you can tell, there's a theme here. I really love like the story video games, the classics. I would really love to play DK64 for the first time again. That's like one of my favorite games of all time. I'm really a person that doesn't mind playing video games again, especially open world games, because usually I'll go back and try to do things in a different order. I have not beaten Tears of the Kingdom yet, but based on how things are going, I'll probably play it again after I'm done. Who did you think would win besides yourself before the game started? Visualizing somebody else winning was not even something that I was trying to do when I was out there. I felt like it was me or bust. Once I was out of the game, that's when I started visualizing somebody else winning. I do think that that's what got me so far in the game, though, because in my mind, there's no other outcome besides me taking the crown. And I think that that is the type of focus that you have to have. And that's the type of belief that you have to have in yourself in order to win the game. Who would you have put in fire between Joe, Jonathan, and Rizzo? I probably would have made the same choice as Aubrey and put Jonathan and Rizzo in fire. Did you feel the love for you in the room at the finale? We were rooting for you so hard. I absolutely did. I felt every bit of it. Have you gotten the call to play your third time yet? No, I have not, y'all. It's been a couple of days. Relax. How did you adjust to real life after coming back home? Did you skip Hunter's Child Play because you were going to Fiji? Yes, that's why I didn't go. But I will be at Hunter's Child Play this year. So if you're thinking about going, pull up. And as far as adjusting back to real life, it was a little difficult. Usually, when I get home after playing Survivor, I need like at least a week or two of silence just to figure out how to, live my life normally again, use my devices. Usually, I'm overwhelmed because I have hundreds of text messages that I have to catch up on and DMs and all those things. But it's definitely it's a slow burn getting back into my normal routine. Who were you most excited to see slash meet at the finale? I love you and please come back again. I would love to come back again. And I think the person that got me the most excited and surprised me was Gail King. I did not know that, she was going to be at the finale and much less that she was going to be a fan. I got so excited after the finale ended. Gail King like ran onto the stage and gave me and Sari these huge hugs and we took photos together. And that had to be like one of the highlights of my night. Would you consider yourself one of the greatest to never win after this season? Love from Missouri. I feel like that is like a heavy crown to give myself. So I won't say that about myself. But if y'all want to say it, I won't stop you. But I feel like that is like a big title. And I'm not ready to give that to myself yet. Would love to see the condition of your clothes and Crocs now and after having played so hard. Okay. Some people bring their clothes back and they put them in a bag and they keep the original dirt on it. I personally was not doing any of that because I felt like that is nasty. I washed all my clothes before I put them in the suitcase and brought them back. But give me 1 second, I'll show y'all. The shocking thing about a lot of the clothes and stuff from Fiji is that even though I washed them, they are still filthy and they probably will never be clean. This is my tank top, my in-game tank top. Mind you, this shirt has been washed twice. These are my pants that I wore out there mostly at night. This is my infamous pink tee that everybody loved, and it's in my Amazon cart if you want to go get it. Link in bio on my Instagram. You can see it's like this dirty, like dingy film over it. Like the dirt, it's never going to come out. It's like permanently set into the shirt. This is after getting washed. My hoodie, my color block hoodie, still also very dingy, very dirty. So my shorts and my striped shirt are actually in pretty good condition. My long sleeve shirt is probably in the best condition because this is the item that I wore the least, so it's not as much dirt on it. And these are my shorts from the first time I played. They are so dingy. Like this used to be white. It's like this dirty brown color now. I actually still wear the leopard shorts all the time, which is why they're not like in this box. And these are all like my necklaces and charms and little random trinkets, things that I got from challenges and tree mail. I keep all that stuff. When are you heading to Scotland for traders? Love you so much. You know what? I will head there as soon as they give me a call. That is something that I've really been wanting to play for a while now. So fingers crossed that somebody on the traders casting team sees this and it's my line. How long did your hair take to prepare for finale night? You looked stunning. Thank you so much. So the braids themselves took quite a few hours. I think I got them done the night before. And then the space buns that I did with the charms, that took about maybe 15, 20 minutes. So all in all, probably a couple of hours. Tiff, you have such great taste in music. I save every song you post. Can you please share a playlist? Yeah, sure. I have like a bunch of like random playlists. I'll start posting them on my Instagram stories. Or maybe I'll put like some links to my playlist down below. They're Apple Music playlists though, so don't jump me. I have Spotify, but I don't make the playlist on there. If there was a twist where you got back one of the previously voted out players, who would it be? Ooh, that's good. I think I would probably choose either D or Q because I know either one of them coming in there would have shook the whole game up. Obviously, other than me. How does it feel knowing you were the favorite to win out of the five? Bittersweet, I'd assume. It's absolutely bittersweet because, right, you always want to be the winner. Like, you always want to come out on top. But I will say that being the favorite of the five, it definitely softens the blow a little bit. You were bringing old Survivor back with those confessionals. Love the realness. Thank you so much. I appreciate that because I loved old Survivor. I love how everybody kept it real. And I also can appreciate people making space for people to have real emotions in such an intense game. Sometimes people act like it's, taboo to express yourself or be angry. Like, y'all, we are tired, we are hungry, we are starving. Now, obviously, there's no place for disrespect anywhere, but I do think that there should be a place to express your emotions and be respectful to players out there. I believe that both can coexist peacefully, and that's what I tried to do out there. How was the reunion with the cast? Was there any drama or was everyone just excited? There was no drama, at least none that I saw or was involved in. And I think everybody was just overjoyed, excited. It was something new that most of us hadn't experienced, at least any of the new era players that have never done a finale night before. It was, it was great. I don't think anybody was coming there looking for drama that night. I think we were all just excited that we were able to close out such a great season in such an iconic way. First off, love you. Second, any wildlife encounters in your time on Survivor? The craziest wildlife encounter I had was I was in the ocean, I was using the bathroom, and a shark swam past me 5 feet away from me. I like hauled ass up out of there, literally. But I think that's the craziest thing I experienced while I was out there. I'm sure there were others. Oh, and like randomly, we saw a cat. There was like a cat that ran through camp one night. I was up, it was dark. I saw this thing moving. I didn't know what it was, but I was on my way back to camp, so I had to walk past it. And it was like a little cat. Don't know how he got there. Don't know whose he was. Don't know where he went, but he was out there with us in Fiji. The jury was biased before the questioning began. Do you agree? I don't agree that there were people biased before the questioning began. However, I will say this. I do believe that there were people that went into that tribal council knowing exactly who they were going to vote for, no matter what was said. Love the way your friends and fam in the front row immediately stood up for standing ovation and all else did. You know what? That's one thing I'm grateful for. My family, my sisters, my friends, they ride for me. They hold me down. They lift me up when I'm not strong enough to lift myself up. Oh, it's such a blessing having people like that in your corner because I just know I would not be the woman I am. I would not have the strength or confidence that I do today if it were not for the amazing tribe that is around me. They had the audacity to act confused when you were upset, like police your emotions. I mean, I also was very confused by that. I don't think everybody was confused by the fact that I had emotions. I think a few people were confused. I think Aubrey definitely understood. She understood. She gave me space to feel my feelings, but she also got up out the way because she knew what was going on. But I do think that in that moment, some people were confused. Aubrey was not. And while Aubrey was the target of my emotions at that time after the Sari vote out, I do think that she gave me the space and respect to feel my feelings at the same time, though. How much money did they reward you for coming in fifth? Do all jury members get paid? I don't know if I'm allowed to tell y'all that, but yes, everybody gets paid. Nobody is out there playing Survivor for free. Even the people that go home before the jury get paid. This is TV. They ain't allowed to have us out there working for free. I'm pretty sure that's against some type of labor law. Now that the season is over, please tell us honestly how big of a factor was luck. I believe that luck is a huge factor when it comes to Survivor. You can be the greatest player of all time, but you get a tough break and that's it. Like, for example, think about all the twists that we had this season, right? We got people out there like Christian getting screwed over by having to write his name down. That's not even something that's in the Survivor rule book. It's something new that came out of nowhere. And a lot of those like rewards or disadvantages, it came from like rock, paper, scissors, shoot, or a name getting pulled out of a hat or a bag. Like there's a lot of luck that goes into this game, especially when it comes to think about tribe splits, right? A lot of the times in these challenges, it comes down to a rock draw. You don't know who's going to be on your team, whether you'll win, whether you'll lose, who you'll be up against in tribal that night because of the rock draw. I'd say Survivor is about 60% skill, 40% luck. Tiff, if they voted out Aubrey, do you win the 2 million? I believe so, yes. Can you please keep doing these after this one? Yes, of course. I don't know what y'all want me to talk about on here, but I'm absolutely going to keep this YouTube channel going just because I feel like I am developing such a cool relationship with the Survivor fan base, people that are here just to hear me yap. And I think there's a lot more to discuss. You guys can let me know in the comments if you want me to keep posting question boxes on my story every week, or if you kind of want me to take a pivot and do other things, if y'all want sneak peeks on behind the scenes of just what's going on in my life. But I will definitely keep doing these for sure. Did you get to ask a question to the finalists at Final Tribal Council? And if so, what was your question? Yes, we all got to ask questions to the finalists. And my question, it had to do with the fact that the Phoenix was like the overall theme of the season. I think the reason my question didn't get aired is maybe it was similar to Christian's in some regard because he asked about like somebody telling their survivor story. But for me, my question was, knowing that the Phoenix has been a recurring theme this season, how would you say that your game mirrors that of a Phoenix? Just because a Phoenix is, a mythical creature that, burns and rises from the ashes. I wanted to know how each player thought that they were burned down in the game and ultimately were resilient and rose from the ashes. And they all gave pretty good answers, but it just wasn't shown. Which challenge was the most physically painful for you during and after? Definitely the challenge where we had to put our feet on like the little tiny footholds. It was the Applebee's reward challenge. I have wide feet and those little tiny slivers were so painful. Since you're vegetarian, were you mad about Rizzo not eating the chicken or was that strategy? Well, technically I'm pescatarian. I was vegan for 9 years and then I just started eating fish again like a year and a half ago. But it was part strategy, partly just me being out there and bored and like wanting to be funny. Because I knew I was gonna get Jonathan worked up talking about like the protein shake and the chicken and veggies because I knew he was hungry. And I was really just trying to keep Devins in the game for a little longer and target Rizzo, his idol. It didn't work out, but it was funny as hell. While you're filming, do you just set bills and rent to auto pay and hope for the best? Absolutely not. One of my best friends, her name is Adrienne. She had the keys to the kingdom. She was in charge of making sure everything was incoming, outcoming, making sure that everything was running smoothly. And I literally don't know where I would be without her. She was also one of the amazing women that was cheering for me in the front row during the live finale. Would you ever stream games on this channel, even if it's just more Zelda? We'd love to see it. I never considered that, but if that's something that you guys would like to see, we could definitely discuss. What are your expectations for Survivor 51 as the beginning of the open era? I really don't have any expectations. One thing I learned after season 50 is that you can never expect anything with Survivor. And especially now knowing that going into this open era, there's going to be every twist, every advantage, everything that was ever played on Survivor. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the ride. Favorite color? Teal and lavender. Has your time on Survivor, especially 50, inspired any art pieces? Yes, it has. I'm currently working on a few things, so stay tuned. Who do you think was the most deserving of the 2 mil out of everyone, excluding you? Probably Sari, just because outside of the fact that she's literally a Survivor icon, I genuinely do think she played one of the best games this season. Do players still get luxury items on the island? Are you allowed to bring a journal and pen? No, we do not, and no, we are not. Best hyper focus tool as an ADHD queen. One of the things that helps me most out there is I like to hum songs in my head because I can just focus on that and not everything else that's going on around me. I think it's either the Applebee's episode where we're like on the perch or the physical episode where we're like doing the bucket challenge. There's a moment where you can like hear me humming in the mic. They kept it in and then they quickly cut away from it to like Jeff talking or something like that. But I just hum the same song or tune over and over in my head and focus on that. Outside of that, even like in my real life, I have a playlist and it's literally the same three Bridgerton songs just playing over and over and over again. And I'll listen to that for like hours when I need to focus on getting something done or getting a task done. I know that's strange, but it really, really helps me. How toxic is Ponderosa? I wouldn't say that Ponderosa is toxic at all. I had a great time, especially season 50. Please talk about Hunter's iconic Lord of the Rings video. I saw it when I was backstage actually at the finale and it was hilarious. Hunter, that man's mind is something to be studied, but I can guarantee y'all, I thought that video was so freaking funny. And he did that on a whim. I did not ask him to do it, nor was I expecting it. It came out of the blue and it definitely helped lighten my mood because I was a little tense backstage and that helped like ease my nerves a little bit. What was your relationship like with Stephanie? They didn't really show you girls interact. We interacted a bunch. We talked a lot. Steph was cool out there. I just didn't feel like I could work with her after the Camilla vote. What other reality TV show would you love to be cast on and why? I've said this before, but I would really love to do Traders. I just think it's an amazing show and I feel like I would have so much fun doing it. I really think I would prefer to be a trader though. Although I think I'd be a good trader or a good faithful. Have you ever watched an episode with someone you talked bad about in the episode? Yes. The episode where Coach and Chrissy went home, I actually watched that at Ben's watch party, and Coach was there. And when I was saying the part in my confessional about him being a hypocrite, he was like 5 feet away from me, and it was just a wee bit awkward. But after that, like it kind of like washed away, but it was a little weird for a couple minutes. Who on the cast is a real life friend, and who was a real life foe? I think that everybody who I call friend on the cast is a real life friend. I don't think I don't do fake friends. And I also don't have any foes. Anybody who considers me a foe, I'm sorry to say that that is a one sided beef. I don't have time for that negative energy in my life. Is Devins as fun to hang out with as he seems? He is even more fun than he seems. Devins is literally a ray of sunshine. Where do you get your confidence? Do you have a mantra? I don't have a mantra, but I do believe that you have to believe in yourself first before you can ask anybody else to believe in you. And the thing that helps me really just push through, even in the times where I'm not so confident, is just like a fake it till you make it mentality. And I don't say that in the way that I mean you need to be fake. I say that to me, do it even if you're scared, do it even if you're uncertain, because repetition is what breeds confidence. And doing things over and over until you get good at them, that's what's going to allow you to radiate real confidence. And then ultimately, when people see how confident you are in yourself, they'll start to be confident in you too. And on that note, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for being patient with me, sticking with me through the technical difficulties. Your girl has officially ordered a vlogging camera because I cannot afford any more mishaps with my iPhone editing or filming or otherwise. Yeah, I say all that to say I will be posting videos continuously on this channel. I'm gonna post my workout video next week, and let me know in the comments what y'all want to talk about, because the fun does not stop just because season 50 is over. I love y'all. I thank y'all for rocking with me, and good times ahead. See y'all next week, same time, same place.